I will always choose a lazy person to do a difficult job, because a lazy person will find the easy way to do it.
Oh, here we go. Using a Bill Gates quote to justify why we shouldn't get out of bed. Iman Gadzhi is really leaning into the lazy branding this time, Bart. He's literally calling it the laziest one-person business model for 2026.
I mean, the guy employs hundreds of people and says he's jealous of us because we don't have to deal with emotional people waking up on the wrong side of the bed. It's a bold pitch for a guy with a massive payroll.
Let's see if this shadow operating thing is actually a gold mine or just another guru-sized headache.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Hustle Happy Hour. This is the podcast where two friends sit down, grab a drink, and react to videos from the internet's favorite entrepreneurship gurus.
We're not here to hate, and we're definitely not here to worship. We break down what actually makes sense, what's overhyped, and what might get you into trouble if you follow it blindly.
If you've ever watched a guru and thought, wait, is that really true? You're in the right place.
So pour a drink, pull up a seat, and let's get into today's hustle.
Welcome back to the deep dive. I have to admit, I've been looking forward to this one, but I also feel a little bit guilty about it.
Yeah. How come?
Because today, we are tackling a subject that feels almost, illegal. We're asking a question that runs contrary to pretty much every motivational poster you have ever seen.
Right, every poster in a corporate break room, for sure.
Every high school football coach's halftime speech, every LinkedIn influencer's morning routine post.
It definitely goes against the grain.
The question is this. In a culture that is just absolutely obsessed with the grind, waking up at 4 a.m. to plunge into ice baths, hustling until your eyes bleed.
And bragging about how little sleep you got.
Exactly. Is it possible that laziness is actually a competitive advantage?
It's a provocative question, and I think we need to be very, very clear right off the bat about what we mean here.
Okay.
When we say laziness in the context of this deep dive, we aren't talking about apathy. We are not talking about sitting on the couch, eating chips, watching Netflix,
Right.
and just hoping a check magically appears in the mail.
This isn't the deep dive on sloth.
Exactly, not at all. We are talking about a specific kind of laziness. A strategic laziness.
High leverage laziness.
The kind of laziness that looks at a problem, a really hard problem, and just says, there has to be a better way than just throwing sheer effort at this.
To help us answer this, we are diving into a breakdown by the entrepreneur Iman Gadzhi. He released this analysis titled, and I love this, Laziest One-Person Business Model to Start in 2026.
It's a great title.
And what caught my eye immediately wasn't just the title, it was the specificity of the goal. He's not promising a Lamborghini next Tuesday.
No.
He's not promising you'll be on a private jet by the weekend. He's looking for a baseline, a consistent, life-changing $100 a day.
Which is $3,000 a month, about $36,500 a year.
Exactly. And when you really stop and think about what that means, for a huge percentage of the population, that is absolute freedom.
It's life-changing. I mean, that covers rent in most places. It covers groceries, car payments. It takes that massive boot of economic pressure right off your neck.
It allows you to breathe.
It does. If you have that baseline, you suddenly have choices. You have options.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what's so interesting about the source material here is that it starts by validating this whole premise of laziness, using what I'm now calling the Bill Gates paradox.
I love this concept. I really do. It's one of those things that sounds completely counterintuitive until you sit with it for a second and then it just clicks.
So lay it on us. What is it?
So Bill Gates famously said, I will always choose a lazy person to do a difficult job. Because a lazy person will find the easy way to do it.
It makes so much sense when you break it down. If you love working hard, if your identity is wrapped up in being a grinder, you might spend 8 hours on a task just to feel the satisfaction of having worked 8 hours.
You want the sweat equity. You want to feel tired at the end of the day because, in your mind, tired equals productive.
Yeah, you've earned it.
Precisely. The hard worker solves the problem by throwing time and energy at it. It's a brute force approach. But if you're lazy, but also smart, you look at that same 8-hour task and you recoil. You say, this is miserable. This is boring. How do I spend 2 hours automating this or building a system so I never have to do this specific thing again?
The lazy person is incentivized to be efficient because they want to get back to doing whatever they actually want to be doing.
Exactly. So much of modern innovation comes from the desire to do less work, not more. And that brings us to the core mission of this deep dive.
Right.
We are going to stress test 5 of the most popular business models, the ones you see advertised on, every YouTube pre-roll ad and Instagram story.
How's that?
And we're going to run them against some very specific criteria to find the one that offers the highest return on laziness, or, more accurately on efficiency, in the economy of 2026.
But before we even get to the models, we have to unpack the psychology here. Because I think a lot of us, myself included, have this built-in guilt mechanism. The source talks about this concept of effort moralization. I hadn't heard this specific term before, but as soon as I read it, I recognized it in myself instantly.
It is a fascinating psychological trap. And it's so deeply embedded in Western culture, maybe going all the way back to the Protestant work ethic.
So what is it?
Effort moralization is the subconscious belief that suffering equals success. And, more importantly, that suffering equals virtue.
That working hard makes you a better person.
Yes. We are conditioned from school, from sports, from our parents to believe that the harder you work, the more moral you are.
It's the show your work mentality from math class, right?
It is exactly that. If you get the right answer, but you can't show the 5 messy steps you took to get there, you feel like you cheated. You feel like you didn't really earn it. But if you get the same result after suffering for a week, sleeping under your desk, skipping meals, you feel proud. You feel validated.
Even if the result is exactly the same. I feel this all the time. If I finish my work by 11:00 a.m., I feel guilty just sitting there.
You feel like you should invent work.
Yes, just to look busy. Because if I'm not busy, I'm not being good.
Exactly. And here is the kicker, the really crucial part. Often, the result from the overworked person is actually worse.
Because they're exhausted.
They're tired, they're burnt out, they're making mistakes. But here is the cold, hard truth that the source emphasizes, and this is so important for anyone wanting to start a business.
What's that?
The market, the economy, it does not care how hard you worked. It doesn't care about your blood, your sweat, or your tears. It only cares about the outcome. Did you solve the problem? Did you deliver the value?
That is a tough pill to swallow. We want points for trying. We want a participation trophy for our stress levels.
There are no points for trying in business. There are only points for solving the problem. So the goal of this entire analysis is to strip away the ego of being busy.
Stop wearing burnout as a badge of honor.
Exactly. We are looking for a model with the lowest input, the lowest stress, and the lowest risk, but high income potential. We are actively searching for the path of least resistance.
Okay, let's get into the framework then. Because we can't just vibe check these businesses. That's how people get scammed. We need metrics.
We need a system.
The source evaluates everything based on 5 specific pillars of what it calls a lazy business. Walk us through these because they're going to serve as our rubric for the rest of this conversation.
Right. So if we are trying to scientifically determine the best model, we need to measure them against these 5 categories. The first one is capital investment. And you should think of this as the fuel.
I like the analogy used here. Running a business is like driving a car toward a destination called success.
Precisely. And capital money is your gas. It's the fuel in the tank. If you pick a business model that is a gas guzzler,
What would that be?
something with high overhead, requires expensive ads, needs a warehouse full of inventory, or you have to hire staff on day one. If you choose a model like that, you might run out of fuel before you even reach the destination. You stall out on the side of the road.
And the stats on this are pretty scary. The source cites Forbes, noting that 38% of startups fail simply because they run out of cash.
It's the #1 killer.
It's not because the idea was bad, not because the founder was stupid, but just because the tank went dry before they could find product market fit.
Exactly. They couldn't buy enough time to figure things out. So for our lazy criteria, we are looking for a hybrid car, or even better, a solar-powered car.
Something with infinite runway.
Yes, something that requires almost zero capital to run, so you have endless time to figure things out. You want a business where you can make mistakes without going bankrupt.
Okay, that makes total sense. Pillar number 2 is complexity. This is the friction.
How steep is the mountain you have to climb? How heavy is the backpack you have to carry? This is all about the skills required just to start.
So do you need to learn how to code in Python? Do you need to understand complex UX design? Do you need to manage SQL databases?
Do you need a law degree to understand the contracts you're signing? All of that is friction.
Or is it a simple input-output system that anyone can grasp?
Exactly. We are looking for low friction. We want to avoid what I call front-loaded expertise, where you basically need a PhD or 10,000 hours of practice just to get to the starting line. A lazy business should be accessible.
Got it. Okay, third pillar is time to profit. The source calls this the feedback loop.
And this is so crucial for morale. We aren't looking for get rich quick. That's almost always a scam.
Right.
But we are looking for get rich quicker. We want to see proof of concept in months, not, 5 to 7 years. If you don't see a single dollar for 3 years, it's very, very hard to stay motivated.
Unless you're just delusionally optimistic.
Which is not a great business strategy.
I like the analogy of planting an oak tree versus planting radishes. With the oak tree, you might water it every day for a year and see absolutely nothing. It feels pointless. But with radishes, you see green shoots in a few weeks. You get that feedback. We want to see something green popping up reasonably soon so you know you aren't just wasting your time.
Correct. The faster that feedback loop, the easier it is to keep going. If you make your first $100 in week 2, you are energized. You're fired up. If you lose money for 6 straight months, you quit.
Makes sense. Fourth pillar is ongoing management. This is the freedom test. And this is where I think most side hustles just completely fail.
I agree.
People start a business to escape their 9 to 5, and they end up accidentally building a 5 to 9 that creates even more stress and pays less.
Absolutely. The core question here is, does the business own you, or do you own the business?
Right.
If you are waking up at 3 a.m. to answer customer support tickets from another time zone, or if the entire operation collapses because you took a weekend off to go to a friend's wedding,
Then you don't have a business.
you didn't buy a business. You bought yourself a very stressful, low-paying job with an awful boss.
So we want a business that can run, at least partially, without your constant minute-by-minute intervention.
We want systems, not just effort.
And finally, pillar number 5, income consistency, the sanity check.
Stability versus feast or famine. This is a huge one for anyone even thinking about leaving a stable salary. Can you actually plan your life? Can you sign a lease on an apartment with confidence?
Or are you constantly in survival mode, wondering if you'll make $0 next month?
I think this one is so underestimated. The stress of that kind of volatility, it just kills creativity.
It does. It puts you in fight or flight mode. You can't think long term when you're worried about next month's rent.
A truly lazy business, an efficient business, needs to be predictable. If you are stressed about money every 30 days, that is not a lazy lifestyle. That is a high cortisol lifestyle. So high consistency is absolutely key.
Okay, so we have our rubric: capital, complexity, time to profit, management, and consistency.
The 5 pillars.
Now comes the fun part. We are going to destroy some dreams.
A little bit, yeah.
We're going to look at the hustle traps. These are the models that everyone talks about, the ones the influencers push, but when you run them through our lazy framework, they fail. Miserably.
They look good on the surface, but the reality is very different.
Let's start with candidate number 1, Forex trading.
Ah, yes. The poster child for the laptop lifestyle. We've all seen the videos.
Of course. Someone sitting on a beach in Bali or Tulum. There's a coconut with a straw in one hand, their phone in the other.
They tap a button, look up at the camera with a smug smile, and claim they just made $5,000 while getting a tan.
It looks so simple. You're just betting on a currency going up or down. Euro versus dollar. Buy or sell. It feels like a coin flip, right? A 50-50 chance.
So that is the marketing. That is the hook. The reality, as you can probably guess, is much, much darker.
So let's run it through the framework. Capital investment. How does it do?
It fails immediately. There is something called the small account trap. Beginners think, okay, I'll just put $200 in to test the waters.
Seems reasonable. Don't risk what you can't afford to lose.
It sounds reasonable, but mathematically, you cannot safely trade with $200. It's almost a guaranteed loss.
Why not? I mean, $200 is real money.
It is, but in the market, you have volatility. Prices swing up and down constantly, every second. If you have a small account, a standard normal fluctuation, just the regular noise of the market, will wipe out your entire balance in seconds.
Before the trade even has a chance to go in your favor.
Exactly. It's called a margin call.
Yeah.
The broker closes your position automatically because you don't have enough funds to cover the potential loss. To survive that normal volatility, you need thousands of dollars in your account just to have enough buffer to ride out the swings.
So it fails the fuel test immediately. You need a big, expensive tank of gas just to leave the driveway.
A very big tank.
Okay, what about pillar 2? Complexity.
It fails there, too, spectacularly. The source calls it a war zone, and I think that's a perfect description.
A war zone.
Yes. You have to realize who you are playing against. You aren't playing against other amateurs on the beach in Bali. You are playing against Goldman Sachs. You are playing against JP Morgan.
You're playing against institutions with entire floors of PhDs in mathematics.
And multi-billion-dollar algorithms that have beta feeds that are milliseconds faster than yours. By the time you see a price change on your screen, their algorithm has already made 10 trades based on that information.
It's like stepping into the ring with a heavyweight champion and thinking you have a chance because you watched a boxing movie once.
It's worse. It's like stepping into the ring with a Terminator. You are literally fighting a supercomputer.
And the stats back this up, right? The failure rate is insane.
The stats are brutal. The source notes that 72% of retail traders end the year with net losses. They lose money.
Wow. 3 out of 4 people lose.
And of the ones who survive, only 3% make more than $50,000 a year.
Oof. Only 3%. That is a terrible, terrible success rate. You have a better chance of getting into an Ivy League school.
And here's the kicker. That 3% who are actually making money, they are not lazy. Not at all.
They're the grinders.
They are working incredibly hard. They aren't on the beach. They are in a dark room, staring at 6 monitors, sweating, analyzing complex technical charts, reading economic reports from central banks at 5 a.m.
Which brings us to the mental toll. The management and consistency pillars.
It's the absolute opposite of lazy. Trading requires constant monitoring. You are glued to the charts. It's incredibly high stress, high cortisol. You have to make split-second decisions involving thousands of dollars of your own money.
One mistake, one fat finger error, and your entire month is ruined.
Or your entire year. It is hyperactive, high-stress speculation.
Verdict? Not lazy. High risk, high stress, requires deep pockets and nerves of steel.
Stay away.
Okay, let's move to candidate number 2. This one was huge a few years ago. I think it kind of peaked around 2020, but it just refuses to die. I'm talking about drop shipping.
Drop shipping, the classic gateway drug to online entrepreneurship. The idea is so alluring.
It really is.
You set up an online store. You list products from a supplier in, say, China. A customer visits your site. They buy a fancy toaster for $50.
Right.
Your automated system then turns around and buys that same toaster from the supplier for $20, and the supplier ships it directly to your customer.
So you never even touch the box. You're just the digital middleman who pockets the $30 spread.
In theory.
On paper, this sounds amazing. No inventory risk, no boxes cluttering up my garage. I'm just a connector. But the source really, really tore this one apart. Why does it fail the lazy test?
It fails primarily on capital investment and complexity, but specifically the complexity of marketing.
Okay.
The hidden cost here, the thing the gurus on YouTube don't like to talk about, is the ad spend.
The ads.
You have to spend money on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok ads before you know if a product will actually sell. You're paying for traffic.
The source described this as the testing hamster wheel, which I thought was a perfect image.
It's exactly what it is. Let's walk through the math. Let's say you want to test 10 different products this week. You decide to spend $50 on ads for each product just to see if anyone clicks, if there's any interest. That's $500 gone from your bank account before you've sold anything.
Right.
9 of them are duds. They fail completely. Nobody buys. Maybe one of them gets a sale or two. But you've just burned $450 just to find that one potential winner.
And the really painful part is, by the time you find that winner, how long does the trend even last?
That's the core problem with drop shipping in 2026. The product life cycles are tiny. If you catch a trend, like remember fidget spinners, or those TikTok leggings that went viral, you might make some good money for 3 weeks, but then the market floods. 1,000 other drop shippers start selling the exact same thing, the price collapses, the trend dies.
And your income drops to zero.
And you have to go right back to the hamster wheel and start burning money testing new products again. You are constantly hunting for the next winner. It's exhausting.
And there's a real deception in the numbers, right? We see these screenshots on Twitter or X of 1 million in revenue, and we think, wow, they made $1 million.
Revenue is vanity. Profit is sanity. That is the oldest rule in business.
So what does that million in revenue actually mean?
It means if you made $1 million in revenue, you probably spent $600,000 on ads to get that traffic.
Wow.
Then you spend another $300,000 on the actual product cost to the supplier. And then maybe $50,000 on refunds and chargebacks because the product quality from China was low or shipping took 6 weeks.
So you're left with?
You have $50,000 left, and you still have to pay taxes on that. You're barely scraping by, but you took on $1 million worth of risk and headaches to do it.
And the ongoing management sounds like an absolute nightmare. You mentioned refunds.
It is. You are basically a glorified and very stressed customer service representative.
Where is my package? It's been 3 weeks. This arrived broken. This isn't what I ordered.
All day, every day. And since you don't control the inventory or the shipping, you are at the complete mercy of a supplier halfway across the world who might not speak your language well.
So if they run out of stock.
That's your problem. Your customers get angry at you. And worst of all, if your ad account gets banned by Facebook, which happens constantly to drop shippers for all sorts of reasons, your business vanishes overnight.
So high volatility, high stress, constant ad spend, and you're basically a complaint department. Verdict.
Way too much volatility in management for a lazy entrepreneur. It's a volume game, not an efficiency game.
All right, let's look at candidate 3. This is the old money method. Real estate. Now, usually people say real estate is the holy grail. It's tangible. It's land. It's supposed to be passive income, right?
It is the holy grail for wealth preservation.
What's the distinction?
If you already have $1 million and you want to make sure you still have it or more in 20 years, buy real estate. It's a fantastic investment vehicle. But as a business model to start from zero, to generate cash flow to pay your rent today, it is frankly terrible.
Why is that? Is it just the upfront cost?
First and foremost, yes, capital investment. It has the highest barrier to entry of anything we'll discuss. You need a down payment, usually 20% of the property value.
Which could be a lot.
A huge amount. Then you need closing costs, inspection fees, legal fees. We are talking tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars just to sit at the table.
And if you're trying to make $100 a day starting from scratch, you probably don't have $50,000 sitting in a bank account.
Exactly. It fails the first test for 99% of people.
And the time to profit. How quickly do you see a return?
Brutal. It is absolutely brutal. Real estate is a decades-long game. It is not a cash flow generator for today.
But you get rent, right? Isn't that passive income?
You get rent, but that rent isn't profit. The rent has to cover the mortgage payment, the property tax, the insurance, and you have to set aside money every month for the maintenance fund.
For when the roof leaks or the water heater breaks.
Exactly. So after all of that is paid, maybe, if you are lucky, you pocket $200 or $300 a month in pure cash flow per door.
So to hit our goal of $100 a day, which is roughly $3,000 a month, you would need to own, what, like 10 to 15 houses?
Exactly. And can you imagine the complexity and the debt required to acquire 15 houses? It's staggering.
Now, the source made an interesting distinction here between long-term rentals and short-term rentals, like Airbnb, because Airbnb is often pitched as the high cash flow version of real estate.
Right, and it can be. Short-term rentals, like an Airbnb, can definitely make significantly more money per month than a long-term tenant. But run it through our management pillar, the freedom test. Think about what you are actually doing. You are not a landlord anymore.
You're a hotel manager.
You are running a hotel. You have to manage cleaning crews between every single guest. You have to handle check-ins and check-outs. You have to deal with guest complaints at midnight because the Wi-Fi isn't working or they can't figure out the lockbox.
You have to manage reviews. You have to restock supplies.
It becomes a full-time, high-stress hospitality job. It's the opposite of passive.
And if you hire a management company to do all that for you,
they're happy to. And they will take 20 to 30% of your gross revenue, and there goes your entire profit margin.
The expert note from the source on this is vital, I think. It says, real estate is for investing money you already have. It is not for generating income to live on if you are starting from zero.
Precisely. It's a place to park wealth, not to create it from scratch.
Got it. Okay, candidate 4. This one is very recent, very trendy. YouTube automation.
The faceless channels. You've probably watched dozens of these without even realizing it.
I'm sure I have. Channels like Sunny V2 or those top 10 scariest places on Earth videos.
Exactly. Mini documentaries, listicles. The idea is you don't show your face. You just hire a team to create the content, and you rake in the AdSense money from the ads that play before and during the video.
This sounds lazy. This sounds perfect. I don't even have to shower or do my hair. I can stay completely anonymous.
You don't have to be on camera. That is true. That eliminates the vanity barrier for a lot of people. But think about the production value that is required in 2026 to compete. 5 years ago, you could slap some stock footage together with a terrible robot voice and maybe get some views.
Not anymore.
Today, the audience is incredibly sophisticated. We have very short attention spans. To keep people watching for 10, 15 minutes, you need a professional scriptwriter who understands narrative structure and hooks. You need a high-quality human voiceover artist, not a robot. You need a video editor who understands pacing and retention editing.
And a graphic designer for a click-worthy thumbnail.
A really good one, because the thumbnail is 80% of the battle.
That sounds like a payroll. That sounds like I'm hiring a staff.
It is a payroll. You are running a media production company, and here is the real kicker with this model. You pay that entire team before you make a single dime.
Right.
You pay them whether the video gets 10 million views or it gets 10 views. The cost is fixed. The return is a complete unknown.
So the capital investment is actually quite high if you want to do it right. You're funding a production. What about time to profit?
It's a very slow burn. The YouTube algorithm is a mysterious beast. It takes time for it to figure out who you are and who your audience is.
You have to feed it data.
A lot of data. You might post high-quality, expensive-to-make videos for 6 months or even a year before you see any real traction. It takes nerves of steel to keep burning cash for 6 months with zero return, just hoping one video finally pops.
So it could be rewarding, but you have to treat it like a serious media startup with a funding round. It is definitely not a lazy side hustle for a beginner with no cash.
Correct. It's a high-friction, high-capital media business.
Okay, we have successfully depressed everyone listening. We've gone through 4 popular models. Trading is basically gambling, unless you're a math genius with the supercomputer.
Pretty much.
Dropshipping is a logistical headache and a money pit for ads. Real estate requires a fortune just to start. And YouTube automation is a full-blown media company. It seems like lazy is impossible.
It seems that way.
But the source claims there is a winner. A model that emerged specifically for the 2026 economy.
Yes. And it's a fascinating evolution of the market. It's a model that didn't really exist in this specific form even 3 or 4 years ago. The source calls it AI shadow operating.
AI shadow operating. It sounds like something from a cyberpunk novel or a spy thriller. Let's break this down. What is the fundamental premise?
The premise is based on a massive supply and demand imbalance that exists right now in the creator economy.
Okay.
Right now, there are literally millions of what we can call micro creators. These are people on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, whatever, who have maybe 20,000, 30,000, or 50,000 followers.
So not the superstars, not the Mr. Beasts or the Kardashians of the world.
No, not at all. These are people with a solid, highly engaged niche following. Maybe it's a fitness coach or a pottery expert or someone who runs a philosophy account.
I can picture that. And what's the problem they have?
The problem is they have attention, which is the most valuable currency of the modern world, but they have no money. They are attention-rich, cash-poor.
How are they making money now?
Barely. They're relying on maybe a small brand deal here and there that pays $500, or they are posting Amazon affiliate links that pay them pennies on the dollar.
So they're leaving a lot of money on the table.
A huge amount of money. They're not selling their own digital products like online courses or coaching programs or paid communities.
And why aren't they? If they have this audience that loves them and trusts them, why not sell to them directly?
Because they are creators, not entrepreneurs. This is the crucial distinction. They love making videos, they love editing, they love the art and the craft of content.
But they hate the business side.
They hate it. They hate building websites. They don't know how to set up payment processors. They have no idea how to write sales emails that convert. They don't understand funnel strategy. To them, that is all terrifying and boring administrative work.
So you have a gold mine, the audience, but the owner of the mine doesn't own a shovel.
That is the perfect analogy. Enter the shadow operator.
This is the role we are analyzing. This is the lazy business model.
Precisely. The shadow operator is the person who approaches the creator and makes them a simple offer. Look, you keep doing what you love. You make the content. You talk to your fans.
You do the fun part.
And I will build the entire business back end. I will build the offer. I will write the emails. I will set up the payment processing. I will manage the entire launch strategy.
Okay, and what's the deal? How does the operator get paid for all this work?
It's a pure revenue share. Usually the operator takes somewhere between 20 to 30% of every single sale for the lifetime of that product.
Wow. And there's no upfront cost to the creator.
Zero. The operator doesn't charge a fee. They don't send an invoice. They just say, I'll take a slice of the pie that I help you bake.
That is an incredibly compelling pitch. For the creator, it's a total no-brainer. I pay nothing, and suddenly I have a product to sell and a new income stream.
It's pure upside for them.
But let's run this shadow operator role through our lazy framework. Does it actually hold up? Or is this just another glorified job? Pillar 1, capital investment.
It's near zero. I mean, think about it. Do you need to buy ads?
No, the creator already has the audience. You're just marketing to their existing followers.
Correct. Do you need to buy inventory?
No, you're selling digital products, information,
Yeah.
coaching, access. It's just bytes on a screen. You don't need a warehouse.
All you need is a laptop and maybe a few software subscriptions. The capital requirement is negligible.
Okay, that is extremely compelling. The fuel is free because you are leveraging someone else's accumulated fuel, their audience.
Exactly.
Now, pillar 2, complexity. This is where I'm skeptical. Building a back-end business, writing sales copy, creating launch strategies.
Yeah.
That sounds really hard. That sounds like I need a marketing degree. If I don't know how to write persuasive copy, how can I possibly do this?
And you know what? 2 or 3 years ago, I would have completely agreed with you.
Okay.
You would have needed to be a marketing genius. You would have needed to be a top-tier copywriter with years of experience. But this is why the source so heavily emphasizes the year 2026 and the AI part of the name.
Right. Artificial intelligence.
In 2026, specialized AI tools do 90% of this work for you.
Okay. How so? Walk me through the actual workflow.
Okay, so let's say you partner with a fitness creator who specializes in home workouts. You take the transcripts from their last 50 Instagram videos. You feed all that text into a large language model.
Okay.
You then ask the AI, based on all this content, what are the top 3 problems this person's audience has, and what is a detailed course outline that would solve one of those problems? The AI spits out the entire product outline in seconds.
Wow. Okay, so the AI structures the product itself.
Then you say to the AI, now write a 5-email launch sequence to sell this product. Make sure you use the creator's unique voice and tone from the transcripts I gave you, and the AI writes the emails.
And the sales page.
Write the sales page copy, focusing on these specific benefits. The AI writes the copy. The AI can even design the launch strategy. Send email 1 on Tuesday, email 2 on Thursday, do a flash sale on Sunday.
So the operator isn't the genius writer anymore. The operator is the pilot of the AI. They're the prompter, the editor.
You are the conductor of an AI orchestra. You are executing a simple 4-step process. Find a good creator. Pitch them the partnership. Build the back end with AI, and then launch. The complexity has been collapsed by technology.
That's a huge shift. It completely democratizes the skill set.
Oh.
Pillar 3, time to profit.
Moderate but potent. It's not overnight. You still have to find the right partner and do the setup work, which takes a few weeks.
But once you launch,
which is usually 45 to 60 days in, the sales can happen very, very fast. And the reason is the traffic is warm.
right, unlike dropshipping where you are interrupting complete strangers on the internet with ads.
Exactly. These people already love the creator. They trust them. They've been following them for months or even years. It's not like running a cold Facebook ad to someone who has never heard of you.
So when the creator says, hey guys, I finally made that course you've all been asking me for.
The fans buy immediately. The conversion rates are astronomically higher than anything you'd see with cold traffic.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Pillar 4, ongoing management.
Very, very low. Once the system is built, the emails are loaded into the autoresponder. The course is hosted on the platform. It just runs. It becomes a digital asset.
Your sales come in automatically.
Exactly. The operator's job isn't to manage the day-to-day customer service, usually. That can be automated or handled by the creator's existing community managers. The operator's main job becomes stacking.
Stacking. What do you mean by that?
Stacking new creators. You set up one creator, you get that income stream flowing. It takes maybe 2 or 3 hours a week to maintain, just checking in. So what do you do with the rest of your time?
You go find another creator.
And another,
Right.
and another. You build a portfolio of 3 or 4 partners.
Which leads us directly into the final pillar, pillar 5, income consistency.
It is incredibly stable compared to all the other models we discussed because you aren't relying on one product or one trend.
You're diversified.
You're diversified across human brands. If you have 4 creators, a fitness guy, a gardening expert, a crypto analyst, and a chef, you have multiple uncorrelated income streams.
So if the fitness guy has a slow month in December,
Maybe the chef has a massive holiday recipe launch. If one has a slow month, another has a big launch. You've diversified your risk across multiple personal brands and niches.
so it wins. It really does. It hits all 5 marks. Low capital, low complexity thanks to AI, a fast feedback loop because of warm audiences, very low management once it's built, and high consistency through diversification.
It really is the perfect convergence of 2 massive trends, the creator economy and artificial intelligence. The creator economy provided the distribution, the audiences.
And AI provided the execution, the actual work.
And the shadow operator just sits right in the middle and connects the 2.
I want to talk about the philosophy here for a second. The source brings up a case study to make this all feel more real. A guy named Ted.
Yes, Ted. He was 21 years old, a college student. And he started in what we call SMMA, social media marketing agency.
Right.
That was the old model, popularized around 2018. You'd try to run ads for local dentists or pizza shops or gyms.
I remember that phase. Everyone was cold calling chiropractors trying to get them to pay $1,000 a month for Facebook ads.
Exactly. And Ted said he absolutely hated it. It was miserable. The clients were demanding. They didn't understand marketing. They were angry if the phone didn't ring 10 times on the first day.
High churn, I imagine.
Very high churn. So he switched to shadow operating. And his insight was brilliant. He said, I finally get to work with people I actually like. He chooses the creators. If he likes basketball, he partners with a basketball trainer. If he loves philosophy, he partners with a philosophy account.
That's a huge quality of life upgrade right there. And he doesn't have to be the dancing monkey, as he put it.
Right. He doesn't have to make TikToks. He doesn't have to point at text on a screen. He gets to stay behind the scenes. He leverages these existing audiences that are, as the source calls them, gold mines waiting to be extracted.
Gold mines waiting to be extracted. That is such a powerful image.
Yeah.
The gold is there. The audience is there. They want to buy something, but the creator just hasn't given them anything to buy yet. But I have to play devil's advocate here. We've painted a very rosy picture. What is the catch? Where does this model go wrong?
The risk is twofold: execution and relationship. First, you are a partner, not an employee. You do not get a salary.
You only eat what you kill.
Commission-based. If you build a product, write all the emails, set everything up, and it launches and completely flops, nobody buys it, you make $0. You invested all of your time for absolutely nothing.
So the primary risk is your time, not your capital.
Yes. And the second risk is the relationship. If you pick a creator who turns out to be difficult to work with, or lazy, or worse, they get canceled for something and ruin their reputation.
Your income stream from them dries up overnight.
You are tied to their brand. So the most critical skill for an operator isn't copywriting or AI prompting. It's vetting who you partner with. You need to pick stable, professional, long-term thinking creators.
But, when you compare that risk losing a few weeks of your time to the risk of losing $10,000 in the stock market or on dropshipping ads, it seems like a much more palatable risk for a beginner.
Absolutely. It is what you'd call an asymmetric bet. The downside is you lose some time. The upside is a consistent passive income stream that can scale almost indefinitely.
And you learn valuable skills in the process.
And the skills you learn, funnel building, AI prompting, partnership negotiation, are valuable forever, even if that first partnership doesn't work out.
So let's synthesize this for the listener who is sitting in traffic right now or at the gym, thinking about their strategy for 2026. We started this whole deep dive by asking if laziness can be a competitive advantage.
And the answer, it turns out, is yes. If we define laziness as efficiency, if we define it as refusing to play games where the odds are so heavily stacked against us, we looked at Forex and dropshipping, too volatile, too risky, too much capital required. We looked at real estate. The barrier to entry is just a skyscraper. We looked at YouTube automation. It's a full-time media company.
And we landed on AI shadow operating, the art of being the back-end brain for the millions of creators who have influence but zero business sense.
It is the business model of this era because it doesn't try to fight the current. It rides the current. And the current is that people trust people. They trust creators. People buy from people they feel they know.
You are just building the toll booth on that river of trust.
And you're using AI to build the toll booth so you don't even have to swing the hammer yourself.
Yeah, precisely. You are leveraging other people's audience and you're leveraging AI's labor. That is the very definition of high-leverage laziness.
It is.
I want to leave the listeners with one final thought, a little provocation to chew on as they go about their day.
Go for it.
We talked about how AI is now doing 90% of the technical work. It's doing the strategy, the copywriting, the product outlines.
Yeah.
And the creator is doing the creative work, making the videos, being the personality.
Right.
So the shadow operator isn't really doing the work in the traditional sense of the word. They aren't the writer, and they aren't the on-camera talent.
No, they aren't. They're the connector.
The value of the shadow operator is purely initiative. They are the only person in the entire equation who looked at the situation and said, these two things, this audience over here and this potential product over here, should be connected.
That is a profound point. The value is in the idea of the connection itself.
So here's the question to leave everyone with. In an AI-driven world, where technical skills like writing and coding are rapidly becoming free and commoditized, is the most valuable human skill left simply being the person who connects the dots. The person who introduces the gold mine to the pickaxe.
I think you're absolutely right. In a world of infinite leverage, the winner isn't the one who pushes the hardest on the lever. The winner is the one who decides where to place the fulcrum.
Work smart, not hard, everyone.
I went through some of the sentiment on these types of videos, and I found a few gems in the comments.
Lay them on me.
The supportive one. Iman is right. The shadow model is the only way to scale without losing your mind to employees. 2026 is the year of the lean operator.
Classic fanboy. He's ready to jump in before the video even ends.
The skeptical one. So the laziest business is just being an agency owner, but calling it a different name so you can sell a course on it. And surprise, surprise, he plugs the software he owns.
Ouch. That commenter saw right through the WAP plug. He's not wrong. It's a high-ticket agency model with a shiny new AI coat of paint.
And the unhinged one. Instructions unclear. I tried to shadow a micro-creator, and now I'm legally required to stay 500 feet away from their Instagram Live.
See, the outreach part is where the lazy dream usually hits a wall.
So Bart, what's the final verdict? Is this good advice, situational advice, or pure hustle hype?
I'm going with situational advice. The business model itself, partnering with creators, is very real and very profitable. But calling it lazy is pure hustle hype. It's a smart business because it leverages existing assets, the creator's audience, but it's not for someone who actually wants to be a couch potato.
Agreed. It's a great model for someone with zero capital but high social intelligence. If you can't talk to people or pitch a partnership, you're going to stay at $0. And that's it for today's session at Hustle Happy Hour. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's ready to level up and build something big.
If you want more, check out our other videos where we deconstruct more guru gems and traps. And hey, if there's a video you want us to react to next, drop it in the comments below or send us a link. We're always looking for the next hustle to deconstruct.
Until next time, stay spicy, but keep the hustle real and keep the drinks cold. Cheers.
Hustle Happy Hour.